Andy, what was it like to be back at a tournament where you've not had things all your own way over the years?
Yeah, I mean it was a good start. He didn't serve particularly well, but even still, like returning second serves here is not easy. I mean the ball's bouncing extremely high. Obviously don't know the exact figures, but in comparison to what we were playing in Glasgow, it's way harder to control the ball. And like I said, you know, even from the back of the court, the ball's getting up really high. So I thought I played quite a smart match. Played solid. I didn't go for too much, but I also felt like when we were in the rallies, I was dictating them. And keeping him pinned in his backhand corner and pushing him further and further away from the baseline. So I thought it was a good start.
You've been here for, what, 5-6 days? How are you getting used to the conditions? Is it becoming easier, or is it still tough out there when you...
I think it's tough because it's not that easy to control the ball here. I mean, no matter how many days you spend here, that's always going to be the case because the balls are lively, and when it's warm like this, I think it's like in the mid-90s, you know, it's tricky. You know, if it's 10 degrees cooler, then you know that obviously helps. But the last few days have been extremely hot, and yeah, controlling the ball isn't that easy. So you need to be very precise and get yourself in the right position to give yourself the best chance to hit the ball well.
Andy, talking about these conditions, do you find it to be that you don't mind the challenge, or you just find it frustrating?
No, I mean I think it's something that, you know, not every single tournament you go to do you feel perfect, you know, right at the beginning of the event. Sometimes, you know, there's some certain conditions where you feel great, and some where, you know, it takes a little bit of time. But the thing I know is that everyone's in the same position, and that, you know, it's tricky for everyone. I mean, Vasek had obviously played one match already, and, you know, clearly he was struggling to control the ball at times out there. So I thought I did a good job. I controlled the ball well today, but it's not easy. So it's something that, you know, every match you need to be right on it, not take, you know, your timing or anything for granted. You need to, you know, respect the conditions and make sure you're very sharp.
You always keep things interesting with respect to your camp, and now there's talk of Jonas Bjorkman coming on board. Can you talk a little bit about the dynamic of what role he might play and how he and Emily would work together?
Well, so Emily does 25 weeks a year with me. So, you know, for example, I just spent the last 4 weeks with no coach during February. I think, you know, for some people that works. For me, I've always preferred having someone around. So yeah, I was looking for someone else, and I spoke to him, and really enjoyed talking to him. I talked to him about the game on, you know, every level, tactics, mental side, a little bit technical. Spoke about some of the other players and, you know, the things that I needed to improve, and decided that we'd give it a try for a week or so, because it doesn't matter how much you enjoy speaking with someone, it's not actually until you get on the court with them will you see, you know, how good it's going to be, or if you feel like they can help you. So hopefully we'll get to do that in the next few weeks.
Andy, I know you're a big boxing fan. I believe it was last year, maybe you met Manny Pacquiao. Can you talk about your experience meeting with Manny and how much you got to know him? And also your thoughts about the big fight on May 2nd when he takes on Mayweather.
Yeah, well, actually, I met him at the end of last year in the Philippines, which was, you know, was pretty cool, because over there he's a huge star. you know, the whole country pretty much stops when he fights. Yeah, so that was nice. I mean, I obviously didn't get to know him well. I only spent 5 or 10 minutes with him, but it was nice, nice experience for me. And yeah, the fight should be a great fight. I mean, a great spectacle. I mean, everyone's, you know, talking about it. Everyone's been waiting, you know, for a few years for it to happen. So yeah, unfortunately, I would have loved to have gone to watch it, but I'm going to be playing a tournament that week, so won't be able to, unfortunately.
How do you see that fight breaking down? Do you have a prediction?
Well, it's a tough one to predict. You know, I would say that Mayweather for me would be the favorite. I think he's more consistent performer, and also in Vegas, you know, that's his hometown. He's spoken a little bit about how much he means to the economy of the city. So yeah, if it goes to the scorecards, I think it'd be tough for Pacquiao to win. But yeah, I think Pacquiao's got a very good chance of winning though. But if I was betting, I would probably bet on Mayweather.
You often sort of write things on social media about young players who you think are playing well. I was just wondering sort of what moves you to do that whenever you do it, and have you ever had anyone sort of say, hey, how come you never said anything about me?
No, I haven't. I think I like seeing young players basically just being on the court, kind of expressing themselves and enjoying themselves. I think it's nice to see. I think, you know, when, you know, if you look at a lot of the players at the top of the game, you know, I don't know, you know, it seems like they're under a lot of pressure, and, you know, that, you know, each match is extremely important. But when you watch some of the young players like Taylor Townsend, for me, I just really enjoy watching her play. I think she has a great personality. She has an exciting game. Goes for her shots, plays slightly different to everyone else. And then, you know, someone like, you know, a Kokonakis, for example, I just have just a really nice way about them, a nice manner. And obviously they're exciting players to watch. So I always enjoy keeping an eye on the young players. Not every young player do I love watching, but, you know, there's a lot of them around just now that I enjoy watching.
Do you think it sort of happened to you, that you've become less free in your play?
Yeah, I think it happens to everyone, really. I think, you know, pressure builds as you get older, more expectation, you put pressure on yourself to perform. And yeah, I would say, you know, when I was 18 years old, I remember what it was like. It was very, very different. You know, you just go out and you play and you enjoy it, and, you know, if you win, you're obviously extremely happy. But when you lose, you know, it's a bit different. You're just kind of on to the next week, and you don't dwell on results or matches as much. So yeah, I remember what it was like when I was that age.
And you just talking about having a discussion with Jonas. Has there been a three-way discussion with you, Emily, and Jonas at the same time? And are they on the same page with what they want to see you do? And Novak Djokovic was saying a while ago that, you know, his two coaches weren't necessarily in agreement all the time. So is there a risk of something like that? I know you said it's only for a trial period at the moment with Jonas. Yeah,
so basically I spoke to Emily. I talked to her towards obviously when everything happened with my team at the end of last year. I spoke to her about what it was that I felt like I needed. She agreed. We talked about, you know, a number of people, and you know, when I said that, you know, I'd like to approach Jonas, then how it happened from there was I called him up, I spoke to him, and I said, well, for me the next step is that you chat to Emily and see how that goes. They chatted a couple of times, both of them seemed to think it went very well. And then the next step after that was, okay, well, let's spend a bit of time together, and see if it works, see if everyone gets on, see if you know, the direction is right. It's not about agreeing on things all of the time. I think for a player to get the most out of the people that he works with, it's important that there is sort of disagreement sometimes, and you know, that everyone in the team is able to actually not take things personally if someone disagrees with something, and actually have conversations and get to the bottom of it, because Jonas is probably going to see some things differently to Emily, and Emily will see some things different to Jonas, and it's all about trying to find the best solution. But disagreements happen all of the time at the top level of any sport, job, business. People don't see eye to eye all the time, but you need to be sort of, I guess, mature enough, and you know, to deal with that when there is disagreements.
The other day in the roundtable interviews, the theme that came up again was the big problems with Davis Cup. You spoke about it, Stan, Novak, Roger, all spoke about the problematic situation. Can anything be done in terms of working with the ITF, or are they so distant and beyond change that it's just going to go on and on? Can the players in some way get together and affect their...
Yeah, I think I would say that there's definitely potential for that. You know, maybe, you know, to try and sit down with the relevant people and the players to just kind of discuss it, because the players love playing. Players love playing the Davis Cup. I haven't spoken to one player that sort of said to me, I hate it, I don't enjoy playing Davis Cup. Everyone loves playing Davis Cup. So obviously something is not right if you have players that are saying, I love playing the Davis Cup, but then they're opting not to play in the competition. And the thing, obviously, you have to remember as well, there's also pressure on the players as well from, you know, federations and whatnot to compete in the Davis Cup too. So you are going to have cases where guys don't play for a year. You know, if they've been successful the year before, I'm sure Stan will end up playing next year, and possibly Roger as well. Novak skipped some years. Rafa as well has skipped some ties, but they'll always come back to play, and there's a reason for that, is because they love it. But clearly the structure isn't perfect, because if it was, then guys would play all of the time. So I think maybe sitting down and just sort of discussing it, maybe playing it every 2 years would be more beneficial for everyone, because I think it adds, you know, to the value of the competition when you have all the top players playing. When they aren't playing, people are like, well, right now we're having a discussion about it, how the Davis Cup's a problem. When all the top players play, people don't say that.
And you're having higher service percentage this year than compared to last year so far. Is it something that you focus particularly during the off-season yourself? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I work on my serve all of the time. It's obviously a very important part of the game. Serve and the return, you know, probably the two most important parts. So I always work on them all of the time.
So you didn't change anything specifically?
No, make sometimes changes, yeah, like small technical changes, and make some adjustments to the serve, and then also, you know, sometimes serving smarter in matches, you know, going for a higher first serve percentage in conditions like these where the ball is bouncing extremely high. You can use the kick serves and stuff a little bit more, which you're a lot less likely to miss than a bigger serve. So yeah, it's just about using the serve as smart as you can to get the most rewards, and I've done that quite well so far this year.